This is the plaintiff, Alan Shapiro. He says he was hired by the defendant at his junkyard, was promised a stable salary, and then the louse stopped paying him right out of the clear blue sky. One day, the defendant even tried paying him with a 5-gallon can of gasoline for his car, but the sneak filled it with water instead. The guy's as underhanded as they come, and he's suing him here and now for the $2,318.53 he's owed. This is the defendant, James Morrow. He says he hired the plaintiff to do sales for him, but soon realized he wasn't in the right state of mind for that kind of work. So to be a nice guy, he kept him around anyway to do odd jobs for him. Nice guys finish last because he caught the plaintiff trying to steal gas, but luckily there was only water in the can. They ended up getting into a fist fight. The cops were called, and now the guy's suing him? Good luck, pal. He's accused of being a horrible boss. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $650 for items the plaintiff never returned.
All parties, please raise your right hands. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
For me. Alan Shapiro, you are suing James Morrow for $2,318.53 that you say he owes you for lost wages, damages to your car, and various and sundry other things you say are his fault. You're counterclaiming against him $650 for stolen gas, vitamins, liquor, and some returns. I cannot wait. Tell me all about it. What's going on?
The beginning of July 2012, I
have a question. I'm sorry. I normally like to see the whites of my litigants' eyes. You have tinted lenses on. Are they prescription?
Say it again?
I normally like to see the whites of my litigants. No, but that's all right. If they're prescription and you need them, you can keep them on. No. Okay.
Around the beginning of July, I answered an ad in the paper for a full-time driver's position, paying $1,000 a week, and to drive old cars, scrap cars, used cars that people don't want, based on me putting flyers on cars either in the driveway with no license plate on it, and people would call the defendant and say, pick up the car, and I would drive the car to either a scrap place, to melt it.
He's going to pay you $1,000 a week for that?
$1,000 a week.
Okay, do you have the ad? Because he's chuckling while you're saying
I don't have the ad.
Okay.
And
so he had an ad for a driver wanted, and then when you walk into interview,
I had an interview. He said that's what he would pay me.
$1,000 a week.
Yes, but he never paid.
Okay.
Right.
So now what happens?
Over a period of time.
How long did you work for him?
3 months. For
the 3 months, were you getting $1,000 a week?
No, he never paid me. What he would do periodically would give me a 5-gallon can of gas for my car because I was using my car back and forth.
I'm sorry. You worked for a guy who didn't pay you for 3 months?
Right.
For gas?
Right. Well,
for gas crumbs off a table?
I'm a white-collar worker. When a white-collar worker is out of work, they try anything.
Yeah, no, but usually what the white-collar worker and or blue-collar worker is trying to do is to get some green to pay for food. So I don't understand why you would keep working if you're not getting the green. That's what you're trying to do is get paid. So if you're working for a guy who's supposed to pay you $1,000 and on day 5 doesn't, why would you work there again the next week?
It was a very interesting job. He told me, his words, that he had a very lucrative business and that he would make everything up to me in salary. One day, he gave me a 5-gallon can of gas for my car.
What's that worth? Can you listen to me? You need to act like you're older than 10 years old because you're acting like a 10-year-old boy.
Sorry, no,
you keep fidgeting, moving stuff, pacing back and forth. Now you're going, every time the guy talks. You have to stop. You're in court and use a little bit of adult decorum. Okay, go ahead. That shouldn't need saying. Go ahead.
One day he gave me a 5-gallon can.
What's that worth?
Gallon gas.
What's that worth?
Of water.
No, we're going to get to the water in a second. What is a 5-gallon can of gas worth?
$20
That's right.
times 4.
So that's not exactly the $1,000 that you claim you're supposed to be being paid every week.
But I missed that whole week's work because my car was in the shop.
The whole week of working to get 0?
That's right, but I would have gotten paid
You would have gotten paid what?
the $1,000.
But you
I
didn't
would
get paid the
have gotten-
$1,000 any of the other times. Why were you hoping for it
There's
this
no
time?
other. What
You
are we
make
gonna-
no sense. You're killing me. Now, what is this guy employed by you to do?
First, I was employing him to do sales.
Which is the thing he described.
Yes. And he would tell me he'd be out there, but when he was calling me, he was at the library. He wasn't even working really most of the time. But I still, like, every day I gave him like $50 for, doing some kind of work, whatever he did. He was more like a gopher type of guy.
Uh-huh.
He wasn't really doing what he was supposed to be doing.
Okay.
But he kept begging me for his job. So I said, you know what?
So what would you do? Pay him daily? Just put your hand down.
Just to do some running around for me.
How often would you pay him?
I paid him every day $50 for just running around because he wasn't doing his job.
Put your hand down.
He was only working a couple of hours a day. That's all he was working. So I felt bad for the guy because he kept begging me for the job. I said, listen, you really can't do what I need you for. But you know what? You could do errands for me, run around, do some errands, and I'll keep you on for that. So I was keeping on for the errands and stuff. And then
So
I paid him.
for 3 months?
I kept him for errands, for 3
Wait,
months.
but what about in the beginning? Like,
I knew he couldn't do the job.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Did you ever agree to pay him $1,000 a week?
Never.
What was your original agreement before you discovered he couldn't do the job? What was your original agreement with him?
The original agreement was he would be working 8 hours a day and be get like $100 a day. And he said, yeah, that's fine. I need the money. I said, okay. Then I'm finding that he's stealing gas from me.
How did you find out he was stealing gas from you?
The plaintiff says he worked at the defendant's junkyard and got stiffed in the salary department. He says the defendant had the audacity to pay him with a 5-gallon can of gas. The defendant says the plaintiff was actually a gas thief. Let's listen.
I had these 5-gallon gas cans, and during the hurricane, I had about 7 of them. And I was giving people them for their generators, friends of mine. They would ask me, you have some? I said, yeah. He went online and got the gas for me and also filled up my car. So like I said, he did errands. So all of a sudden, I look outside the door, he's putting gas in his car without even asking me. I said, what are you doing? I don't know. I called him a piece of because, first of all, he dropped off my 2 dogs and he stole the tip money from the groomer. He stole it, and the guy called me and said he had it on camera. They stole the $30.
How did he steal it from the groomer on camera?
A tip basket. They usually have a tip basket.
Oh, you mean not your tip money, but just random tip money?
Yeah, and I did business with this guy. And I'm saying, this looks really bad. What are you doing? So.
Did he get arrested for that?
No, what happened was the guy said, just let it go. I felt he's a little, So I said, you know what? Let it go. And that's it. We're going to be done with. So then the next day, I didn't even know he's at my house. He's putting gas in the car. And I was saying, what are you doing, man? Are you kidding me? I almost already said, get away from my house now. And then when I told him to get away from my house, I said, move. And he won't come off my property. Actually, he swung at me. Believe it or not, he swung at me. I was so
I'm
upset.
having a hard time believing it, but
I was stunned. So I pushed him away from me. He landed on top of the Altima in my driveway. And he calls
whose car is the Altima?
The car was one of my scrap cars.
Okay.
But the point of the matter is this. He called the cops on me.
So what was it that he had poured into his car?
He was being greedy. He put 4 or 5 gallons in his car. Then he took an antifreeze bottle that had water in it. And he put it in the car.
These bottles look like what?
Gas container, big gas container.
Had you ever given him permission to take the gas?
Never.
Any other time had you?
I would give him permission. That's different. I didn't give permission at the time.
Okay, that's what I'm asking you then. There have been prior times where he's been able to take the gas?
Yes, with my permission.
Okay, but this was not one of those times?
No, this is the time I was firing him.
Say it again?
This was at the moment I was firing him because of what he did with the dog grooming place. He came back the next day.
The next day, and
he knew
he's
where the
taking
gas
your
was.
gas. He knew where the gas was, so he was taking your gas.
So
that's why you were mad.
I had cameras.
Are you sure you didn't put water in one of those gas tanks just in case he came back?
No, why would I do that? I would never do something like that.
Why are you nodding?
No.
Because you think that's what he did? Because he was angry at you?
No.
His black Grand Cherokee SUV and said, take that 5-gallon can of gas, put it in your car. I didn't. It was late.
Wait. When is he telling you this? Because he says he fired you because you stole the tip money from the groomer.
On October 5th.
Was that after or before he stole the tip money from the groomer?
There's no such thing. There's no such thing. I don't know where he gets this from.
Did you stop and listen to me? Did he ever bring up to you that the groomer called and says they have you on camera stealing tip money?
No.
This is the first you've ever heard that.
No, he told me that once before.
He did.
Because he knew that I was going to pursue further, that he was not
When
paying
did he
me
tell you that? Is that the reason he fired you, the groomer?
prior to November 8th.
Did he use this as the excuse to fire you, the groomer thing?
No.
He had already fired you, or he hadn't fired you yet?
Well, he never really said you're fired, but I knew the job was over when he pushed me to the ground.
Okay,
He
but
swung at me and
why
pushed
did he
me-
push you to the? Nobody has a justification for
Because
pushing you to the
I
ground. But I
kept
want to know why. Did he push-
asking for the $1,000 a week in salary.
For the last 3 months.
And he was satisfying me.
Was he giving you cash on a daily basis?
No, he was.
He didn't give you any cash.
No,
ever. Not one day did he give
me
you cash.
to go to Path Market, pick up groceries.
Did he
gave
give
me
you cash as a
I have
salary?
it in writing.
Listen to my question. Did he give you cash at any point in time on any day in the 3 months to pay you for day work?
No.
That you were doing? No.
No,
Did he catch you taking gasoline you weren't supposed to take?
absolutely not.
Okay. So you are suing for 2 pairs of sneakers. Explain that.
Dirty, filthy, dirty job. When I would, he would ask me to go fill up
Let's see the
the
sneakers.
empty,
Let's see
fill
'em.
up.
Open them up. Yeah.
One more thing, Charles. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
One more thing. Also, he
would
wasn't
ask
able
me,
to.
Hold on
I'm
a sec.
speaking.
No, hold.
He
Once
would-
it was dark out.
Okay, you stop.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead and finish.
He would ask me to go to a place using my car and fill up the
Okay, I'm sorry.
five.
What is it you want? How
They're
do you?
smelly. I can't wear them. They stink.
I'm gonna take your word on that
because
one.
gas would spill on them.
Okay,
And there
because
was,
you don't know, because you're
$49
because you're not
plus-
coordinated. Because I don't understand how your employer would have to pay you for sneakers because you spill gas when you're doing something that,
It was a
according
dirty,
to you, is
smelly
worth
job.
$1,000 a week.
Dirty, smelly job.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So what do you do in a situation where you can't figure out what somebody who actually did work should get paid?
I think you give a minimum wage.
Oh, that's I never thought of that. That is very interesting. What would you do?
That was actually my answer. She must have overheard me. Minimum wage, at least.
Well, that's a question. Would you do more than minimum wage? I mean, if the person did real valuable work.
I don't even know that I'd give a minimum wage. If it wasn't agreed upon at the beginning of employment, why would they?
But he did the work.
It wasn't agreed upon, though. I mean, fundamentally, some kind of weird.
Well, you're a tough person, aren't you? Wow. Going inside the courtroom.
GPS, $27.14 GPS.
That's because he took my GPS and I had
Did
to
you
go
take his
to
GPS?
Best
ma'am.
Buy. He
No,
took
ma'am.
it right out of my car.
He had a wire. You know the wire for the GPS?
The what?
The wire, the extension. I said, listen, I need this for my GPS because you don't even, he can't even read a GPS. I said, I'll pay you for the wire
He doesn't pay.
because I needed it that day. And I gave him the money for the wire.
How much money did you give him?
It's like $20.
Okay. Car repair, we've been over that. That's over the water thing. Towing fee, what's that? Because of the water
$10
thing.
to tow it from his place to
How do you
my
pay $10
garage.
for a tow?
But I just want to show you a couple
How do you
of-
pay $10 for a tow? The rest of us all want to know.
I have the bill. I have the bill
Who
attached.
bills you $10 for a tow? Let me see.
Belmore Towing. And that was the next day when they towed my car on a Saturday.
Do you know these folks? How come they charge you only $10? It's wild.
I don't know, just saying.
5 miles for the subtotal
That's
10.
why.
Total $10.
That's why.
Wow. Okay. You have a counterclaim against him for $650. $120 of stolen gas.
No.
How is
there's
it
no
100?
such-
I'm sorry, it's not your turn right
There's
now.
no
How is
such
it
thing.
$120 of stolen
Well,
gas?
he stole 4 or 5 gallons. And he actually took 2 of the containers because they didn't fit in his car and put them in the back of his trunk because they were missing. And it had to be him because nobody else. First
But
of all,
how is it $120 of stolen
well,
gas?
I was thinking it's 5 gallons, $4 a gallon. So that's $20 times 6. $120.
But you had said earlier he had taken 1 on that day, and then like, he got greedy
I
and tried
bought
to
him
top it
taking
off.
the 1, but all the gas was
But you
missing.
didn't turn around to look and see that the other ones were empty
I'm sorry.
when you catch him stealing the 1?
No, I did. I caught it, but I was going to let it all go. I figured that's a good way to get rid of him. You ever see the Bronx Tales with the $20? The same thing. I figured I got rid of him. That was the best thing. I loved it. You know, he's gone. He's
Cash
gone.
for vitamin, but all this stuff like cash for vitamins. He didn't
I
buy.
gave him-
All this was where towards the end.
Yeah,
the
toward the
vitamins.
end. Yeah, when I found out-
$300 for liquor. When did you give him the liquor to return?
The day before I fired him.
Oh, okay. And what about the Pathmark and CVS?
What happened was, I told you he did Evans for me. He went to Pathmark, you know, laughing this one.
I'm gonna laugh on that one as opposed to all the other ones?
Barbecue. I asked him to get me barbecue sauce. He says, well, I know a good one. I said, get me a couple. He brings 8. 8 barbecue sauces to my house. I said, what am I gonna do with 8 I live by myself. I don't need 8. So return these. And the thing with the CVS, I get him stuff to return to CVS because he got the wrong stuff to return and he kept it all. I guess he returned and he took the money. Or whatever he did with it. I know, please. I know I still have my hair with this guy.
Okay, I'm sure this took a lot of stress off your plate. All right,
God.
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure. You guys get into this messy arrangement, and then you want me to somehow, with the exactitude that neither of you exercise, be able to decipher your mess into a neat little verdict on each of your sides. And quite frankly, I find that nearly impossible to do because you don't have a lot of evidence to prove what you're saying. No. You don't have a lot of evidence to prove what you're saying, and there's nothing for me to have to do. I have listened to your case. On your case against him, I rule in his favor. On your case against him, I rule in his favor. Goodbye, gentlemen.
Well, here's the plaintiff leaving the courtroom right now. It was a 0-0 verdict. What's your reaction to the outcome, Mr. Shapiro?
I can't believe it. He gave me a 5-gallon can of water. I was out for a week with that car.
Why'd you keep working for him?
I made a mistake. When a white-collar worker is out of work for a long time, they'll take anything, even a ridiculous blue-collar job. And I made a mistake, and she told me, and I admitted it.
You able to get another such job?
No. How could you get a job during a recession? I'm also not 20 years old anymore. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, step on out here. The defendant next. Step in the hallway here and tell me what's your reaction to this outcome here.
I don't know what to say. I really did everything to try to help the guy, and that's why I got me turned.
Nice guy, finishing last is what you say, but
I needed somebody to stay on with me because I was in a stressful moment with my business. I need somebody to do evidence for me.
Listen to this one.
I need evidence done.
Very thin line between being a nice guy and taking advantage of a guy. Thin line.
Yeah, he took advantage of me because he wasn't working every day like he was supposed to.
Okay, over to Harvey.
I just kept him.
I'm telling you, when you work for somebody going into this thing, you need to ask, what am I making? How much am I making? Am I getting overtime? You got to establish it at the beginning. If you don't, it will end up badly. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.